Bob, and thanks, Brooks. It's interesting because my being here was basically brought upon because of Brooks' interest in this issue, and obviously he knows this issue, and he's been dealing with it for quite some time. And for me, this was something that wasn't even on my radar up until a couple of days ago when I got that call, and realizing that there is some kind of amendment or some legislation that's being proposed or put out there. I give Brooks a lot of credit for the reasons that sometimes he brings things to the public attention that otherwise go unnoticed. And that's exactly what's happening here. And even myself as an elected executive, this isn't something people in Macomb County have come to me saying we need to make some changes or reforms when it comes to the auto insurance, and especially when we talk about no fault. And when I think about that, as Bob had mentioned, my experience in law enforcement over 30 years of seeing some of the tragedies that have occurred, people that weren't at fault in accidents, and some of the things that happen and the sustained injuries that they have to deal with are something that really I never got a lot of calls of people talking about. So when you talk about prioritization, if you think about it, here we're being held in a real high standard as far as how we deal with insurance, and other states trying to figure out how do they model that for what we've got going. Yet at the very same time, we have got one of the worst road conditions in anywhere in the country, and that is a priority. And if you listen to the public, there isn't anywhere I go today, these past few months, that somebody isn't complaining about our road conditions. And we have probably the worst. We're number 50 in the entire country when it comes to reforms with our legislation to figure out how do we come up with funding for our roads. And here we're trying to change something that works, that has a lot of support from people that I have had not one constituent in Macomb County talking about or complaining about. Yet every issue that I hear about deals with road funding. And so, my reason for being here is really to kind of get out there and let the public realize, what, sometimes I think in Lansing, they need to start prioritizing what are the interests of the public and what is it they're concerned about and concerned about right now. And without question, it's road funding. So my objective is not only to learn more about or understand more about what is happening, because this is an issue to some and it's a concern to some, obviously, but really to get the legislators to start realizing we need to start prioritizing those conversations. If we're going to start reforming things, I think what they really need to be focusing 100% of their attention on is what we're doing with road funding, so that people aren't getting into these accidents to begin with, and seeing some of the tragedies that I have seen over 30 years and continue to see. So again, I applaud Brooks on making this a public issue. Again, it's not to try to attack, it's an opportunity to bring about conversation that sometimes the public is unaware of. And this is somebody from the public who's an elected official that was really unaware of the real intricacies of this reform. And after listening, and I gotta believe everybody sitting here in this room, after you hear what he says and he kind of brings about some of the changes that are being talked about, you can't help but question, does that make sense? Why would we be doing that? And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be talking to our representatives in Macomb County and getting their understanding as to why is there a need for this change, and is there maybe some tweaking that could be done or better things that could be done with this legislation so that it's agreeable to all. But more importantly, where's the attention given to the reforms on dealing with funding for roads? That is my main concern right now. So thanks, Brooks.
Thanks, Mark. And